types and how we can manage them. Apart from that, we also covered about how comments have been made in, do you see my screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Type conversions, different kind of operators, and I think strings and other things we wanted to cover, but Ishan said it is going to take more time. So that's why we discontinued and took for a lunch break. So Ishan, you can continue from where we left off. You can share your screen also.
Okay. Let me rejoin. I'm not able to resume.
Hello.
Yeah. Can you close this in-call messages window?
Hello.
And increase this font size. Yeah. Yep. Zoom in. Yeah, better. Okay. So we have to start from, yeah, we have covered this. We have to start from strings. You are muted, Ishan. You are muted.
Audible now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, like we discussed earlier, strings are sequence of characters, and the characters that we are talking about, if people know about Unicode, those are the characters we are talking about. So in Python, strings are Unicode strings, so they can contain Japanese characters, they can contain Hindi alphabet, they can contain emojis, and anything that you're while you send a message on your WhatsApp, whatever you can type, Python string can contain that. So Python strings are very versatile. I mean, there are a lot of methods, too many methods actually that strings have. So I've included here a link of the official Python page for strings. You can check that out after this session. It gives an exhaustive list of all the methods. Okay. So let's start. We did this earlier as well. So I assigned Ishan. So this is a string. The telltale is that it starts with a quote, some text in between, ends with a quote. Okay. So first name is a string. Last name is also a string. Just to confirm that and to reiterate upon what we learned earlier, we can do first name and type last name. Right? We should see str in both the places. So str Python string types are represented. I mean, you'll see str, not the whole string thing. Okay, not the whole word string. You'll see str. So first name is a string, last name is a string. What you can do with strings is you can add. It might seem odd if you haven't done if you haven't programmed in a different language before. So what plus does is I'll just enter. If you notice that it concatenated those strings. So the operator plus when used with numbers adds those numbers. Alright. So but when used with strings, it concatenates, it adds those strings in a sense. So depending upon the data type that you are using, operators can have different effects in Python. So this is in contrast to C, in which basic data types are, there is no concept of operator overloading, or Java for that matter. So this is similar to operator overloading in languages like C++. So yeah, plus behaves differently with strings. It behaves differently with integers, with differently with lists, as we'll see if you have time today. So yeah, I added those strings, right? So what if this name doesn't look right? So it should have a space in between. So what I can do is, I can, since these are strings, I can add strings to other strings as well. Now I add a space in between. So this will concatenate all the strings, and it will return a new string. Okay, and which will have a space in between. So I could have just as done Ishan dash Aurora, Ishan dash 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 Aurora. Anything you want to add, you can do using the plus operator. That is called concatenation. So this is called concatenation. It is the formal term for the effect that we are seeing here. Also, strings in Python are immutable. So what that means is, we'll look at that when we look at lists. So first name I have assigned Ishan. Okay. So when I do this, it doesn't add those strings in first name. What it does, a whole new string is created which has its content first name dash 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 and last name, right? So it's not changing this value, it's creating a new string. Okay, so yeah, and like I said, if you see this and you know that first name is a string, we are multiplying this with an integer, right? So this is I haven't seen this in any other languages that I've tried. This is a thing I think specific to Python. What you can do is, you can multiply a string with an integer. What it will do is, it will repeat that string, that integer number of times. So if I do this, you can see that it repeated Ishan 10 times, Ishan, Ishan, Ishan. Or I could simply do this a times 2, just to it's easier to read. You can see that you can repeat strings this way. Okay, so this is very useful in certain situations when you have to, like, when this is useful. You miss this sort of thing in Java or in other languages. You have to write your own function to repeat string. All right. So strings have useful methods. What I mean by this is, actually we haven't covered what a method is. For now, think that methods are functions that do a specific thing to a variable, right? So for now this definition is fine. We'll correct that definition as we tomorrow, when we learn about object-oriented programming in the tomorrow session. So this is, suppose my full name were Ishan Arora Singh, and I wanted to get the first name, the middle name, and last name. So like I said, Python strings are very versatile. They have a lot of methods. One such method is split. So to call a method, what you do is, you write the variable, you add a dot, and then you call the method, right? So earlier we did this, right? Now we are just doing this, almost the same thing, but we are just adding this thing, full name dot. So split is a method now. there is a subtle difference between a method and a function in Python, but for our purposes, it's the same thing right now. Okay, it does something to something. So if I press enter, you can see that it split my name in the parts, right? So what if I I had this Ishan dash Wasim, right? Names are very complicated in India, so how does it handle that? So as you can see, by default, split the function, the method split splits on white space. So it doesn't split on a dash. What if I want to have it split on dash? I can pass the characters that I want to have it split on, right? So let's see what it does now. So now it correctly splitted my name. It recognized that it is a dash. I should split Ishan, but now it is not respecting the white space. So what is happening? So by default, the split method splits on white space, right? It splits on white space by default. But if I pass a character here, I can actually pass more than one characters here. So like I can pass a dash. I can also pass a space. All right. No, I can't actually. This is a good segue to like how do you get help inside for a function, right? So suppose I want to use this split method and I don't know what it expects or what it returns. What I can do is I can call the help method. So like print, there is a function called help in Python that you can call anywhere. You can pass I think you can pass this in here. Let me just try this. All right, so this is a good thing to know how to get help. If you're stuck somewhere or you like you're trying Python after 6 months and you don't remember, like me, this method, what does it return or what parameters it takes, you can do help and you can pass the method inside the help as an argument. Okay, so let's have a read on what help does split happen. So okay, so it says that returns a list of substrings in the string using sep as the separator string. All right, sep sep is the separator used to split the string. When set to none, will split on any whitespace character including this. So it is helpfully telling me that if I didn't pass anything in split, it would split on white spaces. And what Python considers white spaces, what we consider as white space, the space character that I can type on my keyboard. But there are some other characters as well that it considers as white space. So if you've programmed before, you might know these. These are escape sequences. What are these? What these are called? And this is the escape sequence for a new line. This is the escape sequence for carriage return. This is for tab, the tab key that you have on the keyboard. And I'm not sure what F is actually. I can look that up later. But yeah, this is what Python considers as white space, and of course the space. So it also is helpfully telling me that it is mainly used for data that has been intentionally delimited, natural text that includes punctuation, consider using the regular expression. So just to tell about the split method, these methods you will see when you go to pandas or numpy. These methods, the string methods, are very useful to clean your data. So for example, I just had a simple name and I extracted my first name, middle name, last name. So imagine that the the string data type in Python is so versatile that it has so many methods that what you need to clean your data, you'll almost always find it inside the string data type. So let's just go and uh, let's just see some of the few methods. It will also show us how Python's documentation is structured, which is a very good skill to have, right? Uh, Let me just, I'm not sure where it would from, but let me just open it. Okay, so this link takes us to the official documentation for Python. You can see it. It's docs.python.org, and it is the documentation for the string type. Below this, you'll see that string methods. There's a heading called string methods, and this lists all the methods that string has. So there is a capitalized method. There is a what you can say. One useful method would be. Uh, uh, so these are very useful methods. You should definitely go through it. This is, yeah, lower. So str.lower. This method converts your string to lowercase. You can see that right here. Let me just comment the help. Right, and I'll just first I'll show what full name is again. Right, full name, and then I'll do full name dot upper. Right, so it converted all my characters to uppercase. Um, Similarly, there is a lower method, and I believe there is also a title case method. I'm not sure. So this this is useful for like titles and stuff of your so it capitalizes every first letter of every word. This is what title does. Similarly, there is this strip methods. So many a times what you will see again this is a precursor. This is what cleaning your data looks like in Python. Suppose your address somewhere somehow your address got something like this, G number, something like this. Let's say it's Delhi, right? 110084, right? You have a lot of spaces at the end, and you have a lot of spaces at the front. This is very common when you extract data from databases, when you scrape a website. This is very common to have extra spaces around your data, which what you actually need to have, right? So strings again have a very useful strip method, right? What it does is it removes all the leading white space and all the trailing white space, right? Also, you can do it in either direction as well. So there is just a left strip method, L strip. So it respects the spaces on the right end, trailing end, and R strip. It respects the spaces on your left and removes all from the right. And the general method strip, which removes it from both the sides. Okay. So this is the strip method, very useful for data cleaning. And remove suffix. Yeah, remove suffix. Yes. So suppose I have a file name, right? File name is jupyter.ipnb. Okay. And what I can do is I can remove suffix. What I can say is .ipnb, right? I like created a file name here, and I'm removing suffix .ipnb. So you might guess one thing about Python is a good thing about Python. Its method names are very intuitive. So even if you are a beginner in programming, you can guess what this method might do. If you don't want to guess, you can of course go to the help and confirm your guess. But yeah, I find Python function method name functions to be very intuitive. You can get an idea what it will do with just by reading the name. Python is very readable in general. So like I said, it removed this suffix ipnb, and similarly, I could have just said nb, right? Uh, uh, dot. So it will remove the nb part, right? So it will just return this. And in all these methods, one thing that is common is these methods return a new string. They don't modify the old string, right? So file name and file name dot remove suffix. Let me just assign it to a different variable, right? So this is a function. This is a method on a string. It returns a value, so you can assign it to a variable, like we did, like we did here. You can have a method. It returns a value, and you can then assign it to a variable as well.
यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल कुछ
I am audible, right? I just my headphones got disconnected.
Yeah, Ishan, you're audible.
Okay. So yeah. So I can do this. This is perfectly legal in Python. I call a method on a string filename.remove suffix. I pass in an argument. It returns a string, and I can assign that to a variable. Okay. This is perfectly legal in Python. And if I print filename.suffix, filename without suffix. So this is the same thing I told you about earlier, that that we don't need to print a value inside when we are in an interactive session. Whatever it will evaluate to, Python will return that. So filename without suffix is jupyter.ipython. Okay. Another thing to note about this is the conventions that I'm using. So part of being a Python programmer is to be aware about the conventions that other Python programmers use. One of them is variable names in Python are written in what is known as snake case. This is called snake case. What it means effectively is that lowercase variables, lowercase words separated by underscore, right? So this is what effectively snake case is: lowercase words separated by underscore. And if you go and read other Python code, or follow a tutorial maybe on a different website, you'll almost always find this convention in Python. Also, another convention that we have been using but I didn't mention explicitly is when assigning a value to a variable, we surround the assignment operator with spaces. So we don't write code like this. Although this is legal Python, but the conventions are such that we have to separate the assignment operator with spaces. So these are some of the conventions that I'll let everyone know as we go through, and if I notice a convention that this is an important one in Python, I'll let everyone know. So yeah, so spaces around assignments and snake case. These are two conventions that we looked at. Okay. All right. So here we'll see an example of what you might find on a out in the wild. So, like I said, sometimes phone numbers are formatted like this. Okay, and what you can do is, I'm just telling you how I think about while writing Python. So that the thought process. What do you take from this session actually is the thought process that is important while writing Python, not so much as the syntax. Syntax you can learn from Python docs, from other tutorials. Just the thought process is what comes after a bit of experience, and so that is what I hope you take from the session. So I have a phone number, right? What I can do is I can phone number dot split on space, right? So I get these parts, right? And what I can do is, although I haven't told how this works, but just to give a spoilers or something, what you can do is you can just extract the country code from this. So you see, you had a string that you either got through a database or a website. You split it on white space. Then you can extract individual parts of that string. So you can extract useful information using these string methods. Okay, I haven't covered what this bracket zero means, but that is the gist of what I'm trying to tell you. Python string methods are very versatile. So, yeah, again, replace. All right, replace is again very useful method in cleaning. What I can do is phone number dot replace. I can replace spaces with any characters of my choice, right? I can replace spaces with dash. You can see, right? So it replaced all the spaces in my string uh, into dash, with dash. Okay. Also, what a very frequent use of replace is to remove white spaces. So if you know your string only has spaces, what you can do is just omit this. So now the second argument becomes an what is called an empty string in Python, right? I don't know if it's visible on your screen, but this string and this string are different. This string has a space in it. This string is just quotes and then ending quote. It has nothing in between. This is what is called an empty string in Python. Okay. And so what I can do is, again, see, so it effectively removed all the spaces uh, in my string. So you could, you could do so much with it. You can do very complex transformations with it. Uh, just read this method and you'll get a hang of it. How cool this is that you have these methods. So yeah, I talked about split. Split lines I won't talk about. Starts with, yeah, again very useful method. So this is useful. For example, you have a URL, right? Okay. I think any question. I just forgot.
Yeah, Ishan,
Yeah.
Malika ma'am has some issue with the visibility of the screen background. Maybe you have to change your profile to white or something.
Okay, I'll change it to light back.
Yeah, light background.
Better?
Oh, this looks better, it seems. Yeah.
So I was talking about URLs, right? Everyone deals with URLs at one time or the other. So suppose I have this URL, right? This HTTP URL. Right? I can just copy this one. Good. I just copy this URL here, and if you know a little bit about URLs or security in URLs, you'll notice you'll know that you shouldn't visit URLs with HTTP anymore. You should always visit URLs with HTTPS. That stands for secure. It's HTTP over TLS, what the actual term is. But you shouldn't visit any more URLs that start with HTTP, just HTTP. All right. So what I can do using these string methods is I can answer the question whether I should visit a URL or not. How I can do it? I'll just try to make you understand. So URL dot starts with, like I said, again, very powerful. Python string methods are very powerful. One of the most powerful in any languages I've seen, to be honest. Starts with HTTPS. All right. So this URL dot starts with HTTPS return true, and we haven't done booleans yet, but we will do it eventually. But you can see that if I do this, if I change the URL to HTTP, and now it is an insecure URL, and I do this, it gives me false, right? So using a simple string method, I was able to answer whether I should visit this URL or not. Now imagine this small decision in a larger setting, right? So you can compose these things very effectively and very nicely, such that you can build complex logic through it. Okay. So yeah, this is starts with, we have already seen strip. Okay, strip. I can give an example of strip as well, a different example. So let's again go back to the address. So I'll comment all these. Remember, comments start with hashes. I've said this about 10 times now. So yeah, I've gone to address. Again, this is the part of data cleaning that we eventually have to do every time. Sometimes there are weird characters in addresses. I don't know. This is not a very uncommon thing to find on web. Right? What I can do is if I do address or strip right now. Right? Remember, by default, strip removes white spaces from starting and the end. Right? How do I know that? I can go to help str.strip. Okay. Always remember how to get help. That is the most important thing. So what I can also do is I can pass the set of characters that I want to get, that I want to strip from either the beginning or the end. Right? So this of course depends on what my data source is, and if I know what characters I'll find in my data source. So this is always circumstantial, what you put in this argument. Right? So as you can see, I told it that strip either this or this, right? So it's either or. I can give more characters. I can give space. I can give G. Apologies. I can give G also. So I can give a set of characters, right? It will now split this as well because I told it. Okay. So this is strip. You can pass multiple characters here, and title we have translate is an advanced method. upper. Z-fill is useful. So Z-fill just pads your string with zeros. So also, if you notice, if you open this page, you'll notice that this page is filled with examples. So very, very nicely written document. All right. Okay. So enough about string methods. I think these are the most useful string methods that I've encountered over the years. I mean, there are obviously more, but these are the most common ones. The strip, split, upper, lower. These are very common. Okay? And what I wanted to do was now I want to discuss a bit about string literals. So, like I said, I can declare strings using like this, right? Ishan, Ishan, or Ishan, right? These are the same thing, just different ways, albeit more confusing. But these are different ways to declare a string in Python. Right? There is a different way, a yet another way to declare strings in Python, and it declares a different type of string. It is still a string, but a different type of strings. So this is what is known as an if string. This was added in Python 3.6, right? So it's been long, it's been very long since this got added, but this is one of the most favorite features of Python for me, because it's so useful while programming that if you don't have this in a language, in a different language, you start missing Python. So F strings, what is different about F strings? First of all, type of an F string. Let me just assign it to a variable here so it's easy. Name, alright? So name, it is a string, right? But it is an F string. What do I mean by that? So in a string, when you declare a string like this, a regular string, a normal string, right? Sometimes what you want to do is, suppose my age is 22, and what else? The year I was born in equals 2001. What I want to do is, sometimes I want to print a message like my name. I'll just, although this is a dummy example, but the pattern here is fairly common while programming in Python. You will want to do it a lot when you start programming in Python. So my name is Ishan and my age is 22 because I was born in 2001. Okay, you want to print this message. What you have is, you have your age. Age is an integer, remember. This is an integer, and the type of the variable is the type of the value it is assigned to. Born in is also an integer, right? This is 2001, nothing special about it. Name is a string, and I want to print a message like this. So before Python 3.6, or before even forget about Python versions, a very naive way to do this is, my name is, I can pass my name here, and my age is age, because I was born in right? So if I now press enter, hopefully I haven't made any error. See, so this is what got printed. right? And imagine you have three variables right now. You have three variables right now. Imagine what if you had five? What if you had 10? So this very fast gets more complicated than it is worth. And Python being the language it is, it gives us a nicer, more readable, more beautiful way to write such expressions. So what I can do is, right, I'll just make it a regular string. I don't need an F string. What I can do is, I can inside my string, I can do my name is, and using this curly braces, this is a special syntax, right? So we haven't seen this in regular string. So if in a regular string I put curly braces, it's part of the string, right? It's literally part of the string. But in an F string, these curly braces have special meaning. So what I can do is I can pass age. My name is Ishan, so I should pass name here. Right? My age is curly braces age. Because I was born in sorry, I put born. Alright. So I'll comment this print and I'll just since we are on an interactive REPL, you can see that. So think of F strings as a templating mechanism inside Python. So it is somewhere between regular strings and a full-blown templating engine that you can use, right? It's very convenient, and the places where you use it, it reduces your mental overhead and code length by a very appreciable bit. All right. So this is F strings. So very useful. You should like. I always use F strings while programming in Python. So these are F strings, right? Next we have. Next, what do we do? Next we have. Yeah. I would like to cover strings. Yeah. So let me not comment this. I'll just create a new set. Insert. So, like I said, these are various ways in which you can define a regular string. We are not talking about F strings now. That part is done. Okay. You can obviously always do this, right? Convert a regular string to an F string by prefixing the string, the starting quote with an F. Okay, you can always do this. So yeah, I'm talking about regular strings right now. So what's the difference between all? I mean, why three different ways to define a string in Python, right? It must have something different. They must have a few differences. So yes, there are. So double quotes are generally used when your strings contain single quotes. So Ishan's name is Ishan. Single quotes you can use when your string contains double quotes. Ishan said hello. Okay. Triple quotes you can use when your string contains double quotes or single quotes. Right? Either of those is fine. Ishan said hello. But Ishan's name is Ishan. Alright? So whichever code you start with, you can't put that code inside the string literal. It is a limitation of it's an understandable limitation, because how else would Python know where your string ends and whether that code was part of your string or not. So if I said this, right, you see my syntax highlighting gets a bit wobbly. So it disturbs my syntax highlighting, because according to Python the string ends here, right? But I want to include single quotes in my string, right? So there are two options: either use a different quote, a different type of a different quoted string, or what you can do is don't use uh, don't use the same code. Use the escape sequence for that code, right? So I'll pause till here and I'll wait for people. Do people have any questions or any clarifications? And I'll continue on my explanation of escape sequences. Any questions? Any doubts? Uh, Anything else? Yes, no? Okay. Thanks, Amit.
So is everyone following and trying it out as he is trying, or just listening? Because the more you try, the more it will become muscle memory. Coding is once you start thinking in very different ways. While because we are very quickly going to go into very advanced things. Then all this basics is going to come very handy. And also we'll be doing some web development work also, front end, not front end exactly, the back end. For example, the F string which we showed, like we use in Django, like there is a templating engine known as Jinja, right? Are we using that tomorrow or day after, Nishan, or we are using something else?
So in Django, they'll be using Django templating, which is very similar to Jinja. The concepts are the same. If you understand F strings, it is easier to understand what Jinja is.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, it looks so similar. Like the whole web page is going to be with lots of curly braces and lots of
Yeah.
variables inside it. Let's say we want to create a form, or we want to create a anything. So then the variables, which variables are going to come where, how. So it looks very similar, like F strings, what just Ishan showed a moment ago. So any questions, doubts, anything you have, please ask. And is the pace okay? Should we increase the pace, or is the pace going on okay? Let us know, because we have time constraints, and in that time we have to cover a lot of ground. Yeah. Yeah, Ishan, continue.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I was talking about escape sequence. So, mm, so people who are not familiar with programming, they might not know what an escape sequence is, right? So I can easily, it's just a limited overview of what those are. I can type whatever keys on my keyboard are very easily, right? I can type QWERTY, QWERTY, UIOP. I can type numbers. I can type punctuation very easily, right? I can represent, so because I can type those very easily on my keyboard, I can represent those in my strings, right? But these are not the only things that are available in text or on a page. You have things like enter. What happens if you press enter? How do you represent that in a string, right? What happens if you press tab, right? here it shifts the cursor by a few spaces. But what if I want to represent the tab character in my string? Or what if I want to represent page down, backspace, these sort of things that are considered non-printable, right?
Spaces also, and tab has got a very special meaning in Python. We'll know when we go to the text editor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
When we start
So
editing,
currently we are just in Jupyter notebooks in single level of indentation. When we go to these flow controls and such, we'll have to worry about indentation as well. Yeah. So yeah, so I was here. How do I represent enter? Suppose enter in my string. So enter has a escape sequence assigned to it. So these escape sequence come from C family. So uh, C, ASCII, all those are basic things that you learn when you get into a computer science course. But since people don't know about that, I'll just give a quick overview of what those are. So every character you press on your keyboard has a number assigned to it, right? Because in the end, everything is bits and bytes. So for if you're on a Linux machine, you can just type man ASCII. It will show you the code pages, numbers for various popular characters or regular characters that are found on a keyboard. So if I go to the number decimal number 20 or 30, yeah, 32 I guess. So yeah, so you can see that 32 represents space. So when I press space on my keyboard, the actual number that gets stored or gets sent or anything is the number 32. Convert that to bits, and that is what is sent or stored when you press space on your keyboard, right? Because in the end, everything is bits and bytes inside the keyboard, right? So how do I represent that inside string? So you can represent that using \n, right? Or you can represent that using hex codes as well. We won't go into that. We can learn about how we can represent emojis inside this uh, Unicode code points. Those are advanced topics, string related to strings. So this is a fairly common thing that is done dealing with new lines. So this is called a new line character. Right? Just to show the effect of this, I'll just enter a few new lines. Right? Remember, this new line is an enter. But when you press enter on the keyboard, this represents that. As you can see, if I remove these new lines, just to show the difference, if I remove these new lines, you can see the output ended here at 8989. But if I add these new lines, each new line represents an enter. So what print will do it will shift the space required or cursor if you are on a terminal by that number of lines. Okay, so these escape sequence you can look that up later. It's not very important right now, but yeah, you'll see them often in while you clean text or while you get your text from a database or such anything any source like that. Yeah, so like I said, if you want to enter single quotes in a single quoted string, this is a single quoted string because we are using single quotes to uh, um, define a string. So you can use the escape sequence for that type of string, right? Python, what it will do is inside that string, I'll just show what it does. So what it will do is this a better served example would not be this. Basically it will just insert we should print it actually since it will show. Yeah, so this single quote character literally got inserted inside the string. So it's after set space and this, right? Because we can't declare it in a Python file, because we are using the same type of quoted string, we had to use escape sequence, right? Similar cases with double quoted strings as well. If you want to include double quotes inside a double quoted string, just escape them. Okay. By the way, if you are having to do such sort of things, I would recommend you using the triple quoted string, because it's much simpler and more readable. Always go for more readable option in Python. Okay. So yeah, that's what I had to. Also, a major difference uh, in these triple quoted strings. If I press enter, so these triple quoted strings can span multiple lines. Okay. Uh, yeah. But if I do it here, let's just remove so that it doesn't confuse us. And this too is too many quotes. I can't do this. This is not legal in Python. You can see it gives me an error. If you are on a Colab notebook or Jupyter notebook, this will give an error, because these single quoted and double quoted strings can't span multiple lines. So only triple quoted strings can span multiple lines. This might sound arbitrary at first glance, but triple quoted strings have a different use as well. They are used to add comments or documentation to your Python functions and classes. So it's useful to have a string span multiple lines. So it's useful there. We'll probably look at that when we do classes and on modules and such. But yeah, there is a difference between all these syntaxes. Okay, strings. I mean, yes, this is a bit complicated, but you have to go over it when you have to learn Python, right? There will be more complicated things. So yeah, now we are on the topic slices and substrings. So again, let me just put the play, right here. Understand the, do you want that? This is just a random string, right? It's you can see it as a few words of a play, few first words of a play, right? So in Python, as I said, strings are a sequence of characters, right? So what if you want to get a single character from a sequence of characters from a string? How do you do that? So suppose I want to get the capital A, the first character from this play. How do I do that? So strings support a different kind of operator. So till now we've been seeing operators that work with numbers, that work with strings. So the plus and the multiplication and the division. Division doesn't work with string, but yeah, the plus and multiplication operator do. There is a different operator that is unique to strings and some other data types. But what you can do is you can ask Python to give the first character of this string using this special operator. This is called the subscript operator. If you want to search it or want to look into it a bit further, this is known as the subscript operator. Okay. What you do with the subscript operator is you pass the character that you want
सर आप बुला रहे थे?
जब वहाँ पे पोडियम पे when you are speaking on the podium, तो I was watching your body language, ठीक है, क्योंकि तुमने SSB भी देना है और वहाँ पे फिर लेक्चरेट भी होता है, GD भी होता है, right? So when you sit, when you stand, when you speak, everything matters. जो आप बोल रहे हो आपके फेस पे रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं हो रहा, it doesn't make sense. You are welcoming the gathering, but there is no smile on your face. You are just reading out the thing. You are doing this. ठीक है, तो इसको थोड़ा सा अलग करने की जरूरत है। हाँ, नेक्स्ट टाइम जब भी एंकरिंग करोगे आई लुक इनटू इट। और ऐसे झुक के खड़ा होता पोडियम पे, कोने टिका पे। हाँ, स्ट्रेट बी स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन।
थैंक यू सर।
ओके।
आपको इम्प्रूवमेंट
ना मेरी जो ऑब्जर्वेशन होंगी मैं कीप टेलिंग।
सर आई एम ग्लैड आपने नोटिस करा बताया।
ठीक है।
सर आप तो फ्री हो जाओगे
4:30।
सर, अगर आपको आगे कभी भी टाइम मिले तो मेरे को शुरू में एक बार एड्रेस कर देना सर।
अभी इस वीक तो बिजी होता है, जब तक कि FD भी चलेगा ना, बिकॉज आई एम मैनेजिंग एवरीथिंग इन दिस। मैं थोड़ा सा ऑक्यूपाइड हूँ उसमें एक हफ्ते बाद। Yes, absolutely. हेलो, हाँ जी, हाँ जी, मैं बढ़िया, आप कैसे हैं? क्या क्या क्या? हाँ हाँ हाँ, क्या हुआ बताओ? नहीं, आप उन्हें उठा के एक तरफ रख दो, इससे राइट ऑफ में, अगर वर्किंग कंडीशन में है तो रख लो, नहीं तो राइट ऑफ करा दो। नहीं नहीं नहीं, उसका कहीं वो पर्सन, वो कहीं वो डिपार्टमेंट के स्टॉक में नहीं है, वो पर्सनल परचेज का है, तो वो स्टॉक में दिखाने की ज़रूरत नहीं। अंदर ही वो सीनियर्स की है। ठीक है।
सर इसमें से ये चेयर वहाँ पे बैठने के लिए यूज़
क्या जी?
सर ये चेयर वहाँ बैठने के लिए यूज़ करने
बेटा मेरे से नहीं पूछो, लाइब्रेरी स्टाफ से पूछो,
वो कहाँ पे उधर बैठे
जो हाँ टेबल पे हो।
ठीक है।
No, no, assignments are fine. You can give some exercise on the go as well to make make the concept clear. Lalita ma'am, these are not assignments. These won't be counted for your assessments. These are just practice exercises to make the concepts more clear.
pasting this in the chat. So the output should be like we have seen. Output should be state, then businesses, then pen, like this. Or you can even use the print function. Okay, that that. I hope I have spelled it correctly. Yeah. So this is one of the examples that you get asked. Like, it's very common to extract things. One example I can't think of right now. Yeah, it's fairly common to do this sort of stuff. Also, if you do it, Amit, can you also like type it how you did it? I mean, the how you did it. Don't type it. Satya, what should we do? Should we wait for solution? 5 minutes. Wait. Then.
Yeah. Wait for everyone to who has done it and who has not got the question. Then we can ask anyone to share their screen. Yeah.
Oh,
Sharing
okay.
screen
That
is
will
a
be
good
nice.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll keep my screen here. So if you want to get any ideas of how you want to do things, it's there. Okay. I'll be back in a bit. The students.
Sure. Yeah, Ishan.
Hi. Yeah. So should we like ask someone?
Yeah, yeah. Some of them have started printing also. I would like to see the string also in front of those numbers, you know.
Uh,
Like,
Amit. Amit, can you share your screen and show us how you've done it?
Amit,
Uh, Rashmi, if you are there.
okay, 02 int of,
Yes, sir, I can do it.
Just share your screen and just explain what you've done so that others can also.
so Lalita ma'am says, okay, PSTN, blah, blah, blah. State code, PSTN 02, okay, 2013. Business or
Is
businesses,
my
okay.
screen visible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So basically, I have taken a number which is GSTIN as you suggested, and then I have picked up the state code by using the 0 to 2, as you have mentioned that this part of the string is the state code. And after that, I picked up the PAN code, which is from 2 to 12, which is 10 numbers, which is 2 to 12, which captured in this variable name PAN. And last one is number of businesses, which is at the 13th position, or from the end it is third position. So I have kept -3. And then I have printed all the.
All right. That's pretty much it. And just one minor suggestion that the business count was int and okay, that's good. Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, that is int, no? She has,
Ha. I thought it was not integer. No, it's
yeah,
good.
Okay. Thank you.
Great, great, Rashmi. So I think I'll present solution for those who have not done it. So let me just increase the size again.
why I'm seeing a small window of your shared screen.
I might have done a different share. Let me check. Resume. I think anyone else was presenting.
Yeah, now it is better. Yeah. You can close that messaging window.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is much better. Yeah.
All right. So we have a GSTN in our string, and as I said, the state is the first two digits. So if you want to get the first two digits, I told you about this syntax, right? Sorry. First n characters of the string. First two characters of the string. So this is two, right? This is the state code. Number of businesses is 13th letter of the GSTN. So since counting starts from 0, it would be the 12th character from the start. Right? 12th at 12th position from the start. And it is also supposed to be an integer, right? That's an indicator because I didn't put quotes here, right? So what I can do is, since it's a string and I know it's a number, I can just pass it in an int. Then this is the PAN, and PAN is 10 digits after the state code. So state code is still 2, 0, 1, first two characters, 0, 1 actually. Then what I can do is, I can start at 2, 0, 1, 2, it will start at B, then go on till 12. Remember, the difference is the number of characters, so you can calculate through that as well. Right? So if I press enter, this is how I'll get my output. One other thing that Rashmi, so it was Rashmi, right? I'm sorry if I forgot the name. what she did was rather than using this, she used this. So these are what are called as negative indexes. Not many languages support them. I've seen Python recently, JavaScript started supporting them through the art function, but this is this is how you can visualize counting backwards. So counting from the end of the string. So if I just comment it and I do this, this is the last character of the string, L. If I do -2, it's the second last character. So read it as nth last character of the string. So you can go crazy with the negative indexes and slicing using steps and such, right? So you can do this, and I'll leave that to the people here as an exercise to go and see what output you get when you do slicing along with negative indexes. There are certain patterns in Python that are possible because of negative indexes. I leave that for you to learn them on your own. So yeah, I'll just comment this. I'll uncomment this. This is our solution. Okay. State code, number of businesses, and PAN number. Okay, and the PAN of the ruler. All right. So how much time do we have left? Approximately an hour. Okay. So we've covered strings. Now we'll go to booleans. So for people, again, who are not familiar with programming, boolean are the truth values that can be either true or false. So it is the analog of binary in logical sense if you think about it. So in Python, there are two literals, the true literal and the false literal. If I press enter, true evaluates to true, false evaluates to false, right? This is expected. Some languages have literals starting with small f, small t, but you have to remember that in Python it is a capital T, right? This is something that you have to remember. So yeah, this is booleans. Also there is a bool function. Okay, like int, like print, like whatever function we just last did, help function, int, float, etc., etc. There is a bool function as well. You can consider it as the boolean constructor, right? If we enter it, default value is false, right? If you want to remember it, you can, but it's not, doesn't matter at all. What is interesting about bool is if I pass it true, it gives me true, right? If I pass it false, remember this is not a string. This let me just to reiterate. This is a different type. This is a different type than we've looked at. We've looked at ints, floats, strings. This capital T without any strings, without any f or without any dots or something. This is the literal value true. That is type boolean. Okay. You can assign if you want to assign. Is Sunday today, right, equals false. This is a valid thing, right? Similarly, how you initialize other variables, you can initialize boolean variables as well, right? They're used for flags and to check a condition, or in control flow statements we look at those after a few minutes. So yeah. So back to the bool thing, right? So if I pass true in it, just a minute. If I pass true in it, this is boolean value true. If I pass false in it,